And we are live. How is it going, everybody? This is Robbie1 Kenobi, and welcome to my first predictions video of 2018, and the first predictions video I've done since NXT TakeOver War Games back in November. I cannot believe it has been that long, but yeah, guys, I have been super busy since then, but I am back, and I am ready to predict NXT TakeOver Chicago 2. Of course, NXT TakeOver Chicago 2 is live this Saturday night on the WWE Network. And for the most part, guys, I'm very excited for the show. I'm very excited because, of course, NXT makes you invested in their TakeOver specials and in their product in general. Am I excited for Money in the Bank Sunday night? Nope. I really could care less for WWE Money in the Bank this Sunday night. But I'm here to talk about NXT TakeOver Chicago too. Now, like the Lexman said in his predictions video, I am a little concerned. Well, I'm not a little concerned, but I know NXT has a huge act to follow coming off the heels of NXT TakeOver New Orleans. And that show was incredible. I think that is by far the best NXT TakeOver special to date. And, excuse me, NXT has a huge NXT has quite an act to follow with with their with this TakeOver special on Saturday. But they always deliver a great TakeOver special, and I know they will deliver this Saturday night. So I'm looking forward to the show. Do I think it's going to top NXT TakeOver New Orleans? No. Might, but very slim chance. But still, with the card that we have for Saturday night, including the main event, this looks like it will be just another great NXT special, and it could be the second best NXT TakeOver special of the year. So without any further ado, guys, let's get down to business, because like I said, it's been quite a while since I last predicted any of these pay-per-views being NXT TakeOver special or a WWE pay-per-view. Let's get right down to business. 5 matches on the card. First match on this list, Ricochet versus the Velveteen Dream. Now, in my opinion, this could be the show stealer of the show, not named Johnny Gargano versus Tomasso Ciampa. This is going to be an awesome match between Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. We already know who Ricochet is, and we already know what Velveteen Dream brings to the table. So you already know off the bat this is going to be a great match. As far as the prediction goes, I think it's safe to say Ricochet wins this match. You know, they're building him up as one of the future stars in NXT, one of the future NXT champions. So it's safe to say he's going to win this match. Now, I could see Velveteen Dream winning. I could see Velveteen Dream winning this match because Velveteen Dream, even in defeat, in big defeats, he's looked strong. You know, he didn't win the ladder match at NXT TakeOver New Orleans, but he had quite a strong showing. And of course, he didn't beat Aleister Black in NXT TakeOver War Games, but he shined. He had his breakout moment in that match. He had his breakout performance. So there's a chance Velveteen Dream could beat Ricochet, because if he beats Ricochet, that doesn't hurt Ricochet at all. That's ultimately establishing Velveteen Dream as a future main event player. And I mean, he got an endorsement from John Cena of all people. So that says big things about Velveteen Dream. But like I said, guys, consensus-wise, I predict Ricochet will win this match, but I could see Velveteen Dream pulling off a big upset, because a loss to Velveteen Dream will not hurt Ricochet at all. He is so well established so far, and he's only been in NXT for like, what, 2 months, I want to say? He's only been in NXT for like 2 months, and he's already well established. So if he loses to Velveteen Dream in NXT TakeOver Chicago 2, it's not going to hurt his career. But I'm predicting Ricochet will win the match, because eventually I see Ricochet challenging for the NXT Championship before the end of 2018. So my prediction is Ricochet. Next up, we have the NXT Tag Team Championship match, the Undisputed Era defending against Oney, Lorcan, and Danny Burch. I think this will be another great match. You know, I like the team of Lorcan and Burch. They're quite a unique team, and they're very similar with their hard-hitting styles and everything. With that said, however, I just don't see them knocking off Undisputed Era for the NXT Tag Team Championships. With the Undisputed Era, I don't see any of them losing their titles until maybe Brooklyn 4, because they're such a well-established faction right now. I mean, it could happen, and that's the thing with NXT. Even though some of these predictions, some of these matches are predictable, there's still that chance that the unpredictable may happen, and the other person that you don't expect to win could win. Just like I said with Velveteen Dream and Ricochet. Velveteen Dream has a strong chance to win this match, even though Ricochet is most likely the favorite. Excuse me. Same could be said for Oney, Lorcan, and Danny Burch. They're a great team. There's a chance they could win the NXT Tag Team Championships, but the way I see it, I think Undisputed Era retains. And ultimately, Undisputed Era as a faction dropped their titles later this year, maybe at Brooklyn 4, where ironically they came together, or maybe at War Games 2 later this year, where they won the first ever War Games match last year. So I predict Undisputed Era will retain their tag team championships, but I think it'll be a great match. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch are going to give them a hell of a fight, and I'm looking forward to that match. Next up for the NXT Women's Championship, we have the champion Shayna Baszler defending against Nikki Cross. Now, just like with the NXT Tag Team Championship match, this is another match where there is a chance. Well, I'll be real. I don't think Nikki Cross is going to win the NXT Women's Championship. This is a situation where NXT, they don't have Ember Moon, of course, to go after Shayna Baszler for a rubber match, maybe a submission match for the NXT Women's Championship. So they put in the second, well, I don't want to say second best, but they put in the next best credible contender, and that is Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross hasn't really had many NXT Women's Championship matches, and she is pretty much the best choice to face Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. I don't see Nikki Cross winning the NXT Women's Championship, but I see her giving Shayna Baszler a hell of a fight. This is not going to be a wrestling match. This is going to be a fight, because you have the dangerous, unpredictable Shayna Baszler going up against the unpredictable and psychotic Nikki Cross. So that's just going to be, that just spells firefight and, just barn burner all over it. So I'm looking forward to this match. Like I said, I'm looking forward to all the matches on this card. So I predict Shayna Baszler will retain the NXT Women's Championship. Nikki Cross will give her a hell of a fight, but in the end, I predict Shayna will win, retain the championship. Nikki will go on to debut on SmackDown with Sanity, maybe at Money in the Bank, maybe on the SmackDown after Money in the Bank. As far as who I think will dethrone Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship, I see it being either Kairi Sane, possibly Dakota Kai, Candice LeRae, or based on how dominant she was on last night's episode of NXT, and because I think she could be a strong NXT Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. So those are the 4 women that I could see dethroning Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. I don't see it being Nikki Cross, and this is no disrespect to Nikki Cross at all. Nikki's great, but when you look at it, Nikki's gonna get called up to the main roster soon. So she's the next best challenge for Shayna Baszler. But in the end, I see Shayna Baszler retaining the NXT Women's Championship. Next up for the NXT Championship, we have the champion Aleister Black, the undefeated NXT champion, defending against the undefeated Colossus, Rocky Mountain Colossus. Is that the nickname they gave him? Well, anyway, it's Aleister Black versus the undefeated Lars Sullivan. This is going to be a very intriguing matchup, because here we go again with what I said. This is a match where you have one possible, you have one consensus prediction, but then when you look at how well Lars Sullivan has been built up, there's a strong chance he could win the NXT Championship. Excuse me. They've built Lars Sullivan up as quite a credible monster, and he's undefeated. And Aleister Black is undefeated as well. So somebody's always going to go come NXT TakeOver Chicago 2 on Saturday night. I don't know if they gave, I don't think they would give Aleister Black the NXT Championship just to be a transitional champion. I mean, Drew McIntyre, I honestly thought McIntyre was going to drop that title at TakeOver Philadelphia during Royal Rumble weekend. But surprisingly, he dropped it to Andrade Cien Almas, and we all thought Almas was going to be a transitional champion ultimately, so he could drop the title to Johnny Gargano. That wasn't the case. He ended up dropping it to Aleister Black, and they made Andrade a strong NXT champion. Now, as far as this situation is concerned, I don't think they would give Black the championship just to have him as a transitional champion. But again, like I said, I could see Lars Sullivan winning the NXT championship. Now, Aleister Black, his black mask ultimately got neutralized and negated by Lars Sullivan. So it's going to be interesting to see if Aleister Black pulls out some other signature move from his arsenal to help chop down and ultimately dethrone Lars Sullivan. I could see a black mask, you know, helping to defeat Sullivan, but it's going to be very interesting, the story that these two guys tell. So as far as my prediction goes, excuse me, I'm going to go with Aleister Black to retain the NXT championship. I don't know if they do a disqualification finish because you rarely see NXT championship matches end in a disqualification at a takeover. I mean, the last time they did a no contest for an NXT championship main event was Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at NXT TakeOver Unstoppable when Samoa Joe made his NXT debut. So it could happen, but either way, I'm predicting Aleister Black will retain the NXT championship. I think who he'll eventually drop it to is either EC3, Ricochet, possibly in a passing of the torch, or maybe Velveteen Dream. I don't know, but that's how it could go down. But my prediction is Aleister Black to retain the NXT championship. And finally, guys, we have the main event, and this is just going to be freaking awesome. Can it surpass their previous main event at NXT TakeOver New Orleans? We'll see, but this is going to be awesome. Johnny Gargano versus Tomasso Ciampa in a Chicago street fight. 1 year ago at NXT TakeOver Chicago, we witnessed the death of #DIY when Ciampa turned heel and became the most hated heel in NXT. And since then, it's just been a wild ride for Gargano and Ciampa. I mean, you know, Ciampa, of course, cost Gargano the NXT championship and his career at the time. Then Gargano came back and wanted a piece of Ciampa. They agreed to the non-sanctioned match at NXT TakeOver New Orleans, which is a freaking incredible main event. Gargano got his revenge. He got reinstated in NXT. Ciampa cost him a shot at the NXT championship again against Aleister Black, and almost ended his career with that white noise off the stage onto you know, through that table, you know. And then Johnny Gargano wanted a fight. He wanted another crack at Tomasso Ciampa. They had their little brawl, and that brawl ended up with Candice LeRae getting hurt because of Johnny Gargano getting knocked off the apron by Ciampa into Candice. And then Johnny signed a contract for a Chicago street fight. And, you know, Candice she can't take it. She doesn't want any more of this. But it has to happen. It has to happen this way. And it's going to be in Chicago, the site where #DIY died last year at the end of the ladder match between AOP and Gargano and Ciampa. So this is going to be just an insane matchup. I would have preferred it be a ladder match, but not a traditional ladder match. Instead, a ladder match where they can use the ladder as a weapon, but you have to win by pinfall or submission, because it all came to an end in a ladder match. So if this is going to be the final match in their rivalry, then why not have it come to an end in a ladder match? That's very fitting. But I'm still excited for a Chicago street fight because you know this is going to be just an awesome match. As far as a winner is concerned, I think because this is a street fight and it's more in his favor, whether there's interference or not, I think Tomasso Ciampa will win this match. Now, personally, what I would love to see, if they have one more match, I would love to see Gargano and Ciampa either go to war in War Games, if possible, or even have a Hell in a Cell match to ultimately bring this feud to an end. Hell in a Cell or Last Man Standing to bring their feud to an end. Because I want to see Gargano and Ciampa stay on NXT until the end of the year. I'm not ready for them to get called up to the main roster. And one other thing I had in mind for like a major main event for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4 is if they did Aleister Black versus Tomasso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. A triple threat match that sees Gargano win the championship and then Ciampa go after him to get the NXT Championship away from him to ultimately kill his dream. And then you do the final confrontation between them at NXT TakeOver War Games. Which, see, if they do it at War Games, then you got to do a War Games match. But what I want to see is either Last Man Standing or Hell in a Cell to ultimately settle this rivalry. So my prediction is Tomasso Ciampa will win. I could see EC3 getting involved and possibly interfering because of what happened when Gargano interrupted EC3's match where he announced that he was going to fight. He signed the contract for a Chicago street fight with Tomasso Ciampa. So my prediction is Tomasso Ciampa will win the Chicago street fight by hook or crook. And then I could see them having one more match, be it at Brooklyn 4 or War Games 2, where I think the loser ultimately leaves NXT for good. But this is going to be this is the best feud going in NXT. The hottest thing going in NXT. It is an incredible feud. And to think it's been going on for almost 2 years before Ciampa even turned heel is freaking incredible. And that's a testament to NXT, Triple H, and Johnny Gargano and Tomasso Ciampa. So I predict Ciampa will win the Chicago street fight. And I predict they'll have one final battle to ultimately settle this rivalry. But I think this is going to be an insane match. I don't know if they're going to top their unsanctioned match from New Orleans, but this Chicago street fight with a red-hot Chicago crowd is going to be something special. So those are my predictions, guys. Once again, to recap, my predictions are Ricochet, Undisputed Era to retain the NXT Tag Team Championships, Shayna Baszler to retain her NXT Women's Championship, Aleister Black to retain his NXT Championship, and Tomasso Ciampa to win the Chicago street fight. So, real quick, I have a bunch of comments from Hassan the Mighty because he's tuning in live as I stream. And he said, I want ice cream, referring to all the Women's Revolution ice cream bars I've been coming up with these past few weeks. I would like Alexa, Lacey, Lana, Dana, Ruby, Bailey, and Asuka flavors, please. His predictions are Undisputed Era to retain, Shayna to retain, Aleister Black to retain, Tomasso Ciampa to win the Chicago street fight, and Ricochet wins provided he's not hurt. Now, I don't know if Ricochet got hurt during a house show or something. I'd have to look this up. He also says Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, that new Nintendo Switch game coming out, which looks freaking awesome. Well, I haven't seen the trailer reveal, but I heard it pretty much has everybody from every installment of the Super Smash Bros. Franchise. Iconic cookie dough ice cream, yum. That's a cool flavor, but the one I predicted, I pitched was iconic white cherry. Make a Tony Storm ice cream and I'll eat it. Okay, so I'd have to think about that one. And he says Candice will turn heel and she'll be Eva Marie levels of hate, but this time in the right way. You know what? That could happen, but I don't know if they'd really have Candice LeRae turn heel. I really don't know if they'd have her turn heel. If it happens, it's going to be surprising. I'll be shocked, but I don't know if they'll have Candice turn heel. But anyway, thanks, Hassan, for your comments. And I am going to call it a night, guys, for NXT TakeOver Chicago 2 predictions. For those of you that watch this after I go off the air, leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think of the card. Are you excited for the show? What are your predictions for NXT TakeOver Chicago 2? And, do you think this show can top NXT TakeOver New Orleans, or do you think it would be as good, or do you think it'll be as good as NXT TakeOver New Orleans? Let's just put it that way. Because TakeOver Chicago 2 does have a lot of big shoes to fill in regards to their previous special. But anyway, guys, that'll do it for this predictions video. Thank you all for watching and listening. Thank you for joining me live. And like I said, enjoy NXT TakeOver Chicago 2 this weekend. And as always, leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel. Check out my other content. And of course, if you like what you see and what you hear, Get this hashtag trending on Twitter. Send it to all those big names in WWE so we can get me into that place. Hashtag please sign Robbie. Get that hashtag trending, and I can make a huge difference in WWE. So thanks, guys, for watching and listening. This is Robbie Kenobi signing out. Make sure to tune in. Make sure to check out my channel for more content. I just did a WWE Topps 2018 trading card rack pack opening and autograph update, so make sure to check that video out. And make sure to keep your eyes open for more content coming to this channel. So until then, guys, everybody have a good night. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.